Around a year ago, I would create a video based off of my version of Spider-Man, labeled the Sensational Spider-Woman. Now, because that video has obviously, aged, I considered I might as well make a follow-up video pretty much informing you about any updates, changes, or tweaks that I would make to the original concept for that video. Now, with intros out of the way, grab your updated spiders and let's get started, shall we? So, let's start off with the main protagonist, that being Rebecca. She's pretty much stayed the same, although she does have a few design tweaks, alongside with her suit receiving a big upgrade. Now, with her spider suit, I did a few design tweaks that made it look a little bit more better, and her body type is a lot more organic and natural, and not looking like a fucking Vizzy-Pop character. The colors have kind of stayed the same. The formatting is a little bit different alongside with the spider logo, and overall it's sort of the same suit, but if it was actually good in the first place. Matthew too is also extremely different from his initial conception. Instead of being the British boyfriend that comes in after Sally's death, instead Rebecca and Matthew would actually know each other prior to everything that's happened. They would be childhood best friends back in Virginia, where Rebecca and Matthew would have grown up, and would have been separated by the time middle school came around, with Matthew going off to California and Rebecca going off to New York. There, they wouldn't make much friends, and the only relationship where Rebecca got into, Eric, would end pretty horribly, leading to high school where she gets with Sally after Sally comforted her after the breakup, telling her that it wasn't her. Back in Cali, Matthew would have gotten pretty rough treatment there, especially due to bullying and stuff like that. So Matthew would move to New York where Rebecca and Sally were at, and then would eventually go into the same college as them, meeting up with another essential character to the plot, Tony Chapman. Tony Chapman would have been roommates with Rebecca initially, since the college would assign dorm rooms to people. Rebecca would have been skeptical at first because the last male relationship she had kind of ended poorly, but Tony would reassure her, telling her that just nonchalantly that he has no sexual attraction to her, that he views her more as a friend than a love interest. Tony wouldn't really have a great backstory either. Back in the day, he would have been raised in the Middle Western community where he would be raised by his two parents. After high school, he would confess to his parents, pretty much just coming out to them, saying that he was both gay and also too gender fluid. His parents would then kick him out of his own home, telling them that they no longer view him as their own son. Pretty much telling him to go venture out into the world by his own and telling him fuck off, pretty much. This would lead to him getting super depressed, and I can't say it on YouTube, but he commits a Yuri on himself. I'll let you pick up the context clues. This will then lead to Rebecca having a heart-to-heart with Tony, pretty much telling him that it's okay that he's not okay, and that Rebecca and her friends will always be there for him, no matter what, and always accept him no matter what gender he is, or his preferences on people. Later on in the story, Tony would actually take the mantle of Carnage, gaining it after it was abstracted from space on that symbiote planet, which I don't remember. I think Bah Radio might, list it in the comments below. Thank you, Pookie! But Nick, you might ask, if the symbiote was abstracted from the symbiote planet, what about Venom? Was he the same way? Yeah, pretty much. Venom and Carnage in this are not related at all. I'm not doing that whole dynamic where it's pretty much Venom is the father of Carnage. I'm not doing all that. With Tony having the Carnage suit and Eric having the Venom suit, and Tony and Eric getting together, this would then lead to Venom and Carnage being a canonical couple. I know it sounds a bit weird, but hear me out, alright? I did not want to make them siblings or like a parent-son situation, because I think that'd be a little fucked. The Carnage symbiote would be an entirely different subspecies of symbiote compared to Venom, so just want to let you know that. Now, with the main 4/5 out of the way, I want to divide our attention over to the champions, their villains, and pretty much just some other side characters too. Noting I'm just not really going to be doing all of the characters, since Bob Radio really has made a lot of concept for a lot of comic book characters. So, pretty much, I'm just going to be going through the ones that have changed, are pretty, plot relevant, and I'll be mentioning some that are, worthy of being mentioned. But any more obscure characters within the Marvel Universe will just not really be mentioned here. But due to legal reasons, I'm gonna have to mention that Beta Ray Bill is also going to be a character within this universe. He'll be voiced by that same guy who did Gantu from Lilo and Stitch. Hopefully I will be receiving some sort of weird bomb threat from Baja Radio for not mentioning him in this whole update video. So, here he is now. He's cool. Many of the Champions members have stayed the same. Daughter Doom is similar to Kim Pine in the fact that she'll tell you off with the most nonchalant fucking attitude ever. Rhino is still overly confident in himself and pretty much just a rock. Now, Baja Radio, correct me in this in the comments, but with Hammerhead, apparently he was raised on a Polynesian island that was very, very small with his sister. But due to bombing and, just nuking the entire place, it would leave Hammerhead to, become fused with a hammerhead and causing his form as we know it. Think of Michael Cera if he got his blood mixed in with King Shark. That's pretty much what he is. And of course, the Merc with the Mouth as we know her, the little red goblin, Whitney Wilson, aka Deadpool. Our version of Deadpool, or known as Whitney, is based off of the early Daniel Way runs, Sheldon Vila, and of course, Ryan Reynolds. She would have had a bunch of boyfriends, including Death himself, until she finally got with the right mans for her, Vincent. Pretty much this universe's equivalent of Vanessa from the movies, and I guess the comics too. And she has two friends too, including Weasel and Dopina. And don't worry, Weasel isn't DJ Miller in this, he's Napoleon Dynamite, don't worry. They also work for Tony in The Bar With No Name, so I just want to let you know that little fun fact, because I thought it was pretty cool. Speaking of friends, here are the gas station workers, aka White Rabbit and Human Fly. Honestly, the reason why they're gas station workers is, one, we didn't really have much to do with them, and they just kind of felt like kind of boring characters to write, so we just made them a little more interesting in the fact that they're actually good. Just people trying to get by in their day-to-day lives, but having to look like that. And two, it would add a lot more depth into the world and just flesh it out a lot more, adding more characters into it and just seeing how the whole thing functions. We also have more obscure characters like Gorilla Man, an army soldier who made a deal with Mephisto, which we'll get to her a little later, trust me. To more well-known characters like Moon Girl, who literally have a bigger IQ than the main character themselves. This is insane. This is gonna be a speed round with the last character. Actually, I'll actually go in depth with her. So here we go. First off, Evil Deadpool, pretty much stone cold. It was made by some weird-ass superfan for Deadpool by using her leftover body parts that are severed from her body. The Hobgoblin is both a Rebecca villain and a Champions villain in the sense that it is pretty much the reincarnation of Green Goblin in this hyena kind of Frankenstein form. The Spot, pretty much Flint Lockwood. Miss Negative, Nicole from Class of 09, but if you gave her those Mr. Negative or Martin Lee powers from the Spider-Man game, and also too made her a gang leader of the demons. Francis, the reason why Whitney is the way she is, and also too funny, say my name, guy. Psylocke, from bad guy turned good guy, she's pretty much a mutant who ran, yet again, another gang called The Hand, and is pretty much just perfect cell if you made her a ninja. Miss Photobomb, aka Pokimane, aka Screwball, pretty much she's just a streamer and she gets on the champion's nerves, and she's pretty much just like the Arkhamverse Riddler. And finally, I think I saved the best character for last. Introducing to the stage, Mephisto. This one I've been itching to talk about on here for quite a while because this ain't your granny's Mephisto, alright? She's different. Notice how I said she. Mephisto was actually one character that we executively wanted to make a girl, not because we wanted to add in Gooner bait or whatever, but legitimately because we thought it would be a fun concept. A demon whose father, Satan, pretty much kicked her out of hell, and she has to deal with it for the rest of her life, going around the earth, dealing with her people's souls, and pretty much using those souls to fuel her power. Kind of like a battery in some sort of way. I can't believe we made an old-looking demon guy into fucking Mirror the Succubus. I can't believe it. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill myself. Now that I think about it, Mephisto is a character within the Marvel Universe, and we pretty much made Mephisto the same character, so I guess we're just doing a 2-for-1 in this. I also forgot to mention Frogman in this. Pretty much, if you've watched Black Dynamite, then you know where I'm going with this reference, but he's pretty much that Frog Curtis, just, you know, in this. There are also going to be a lot of other superheroes in this, like Elytra, Daredevil, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the X-Men, too. For the Avengers, we kind of thought of them as that superhero squad TV show, like kind of parodies of themselves, but they're also serious when they need to be. So yeah, Jarvis, crack that clanker. And I gotta say, with all these people in here, I gotta say, this comic so far is looking up to be, fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
Yes, it is. Guys, I got it. Ready? Yeah.
You thought I was gonna forget to mention the Fantastic Four, didn't you, you silly little goofy goober? No, of course not. How could I forget the funny, fantastic, clobbering time, supernova, disappear, fantastic team? I'm gonna be completely transparent when I say this, but these designs, I think they're pretty fire. In fact, they rock. If I gotta say, it's not a stretch, honestly. I gotta say they're pretty fantastic. Okay, all jokes aside, the Fantastic Four are kind of just the equivalent of their comic counterparts. All of them are pretty much the same, except for one of them being the Human Torch. Janice Storm is pretty much just the tomboy of the entire group, and I know some people might be scratching their heads, but hear me out on this one, alright? I thought it'd be fun to have Janice Storm be that, like, kind of annoying older sister to Rebecca. But they're very good friends, and they always watch each other's backs. For these next few, I don't really have much to say, other than they're just their comic counterparts, just personified, but I will just show you the designs without me talking, so yeah, here they are. And that's about it. Now, unfortunately, I will say that I think this project might be put on ice for a little bit, mainly due to the fact that junior year is starting up for me, and also, too, the summer was super busy, so I couldn't really get, like, the comics started up on Comic Fury. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be able to do this. Eventually, one day, when I have enough time on my hands to finally start it, I will promise you that. There's also been a new comic idea that I've been thinking about that I've been wanting to do a pitch on for a while. It's my own original, like, kind of comic idea, and I've been wanting to do it for quite some time. So hopefully, if I have time, I'll be able to get around to making that video. But in the meantime, I just will be working on the stuff that I already have and just kind of be chilling here until Halloween rolls around. I have a lot of plans for Halloween. If you've stuck around to the end, please go to my community tab and vote for the Halloween costume I'll be wearing during those Halloween specials. Little hint, this year's Halloween special is going to be based on another creepypasta. If you've already voted, you already know what it is, but, you know, I'm just gonna leave it here for a little woo. And that's about it. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content like this. I've been me, you guys have been yourselves, and bazinga as always. Spider-Man!
It was just a phase.
Just a phase?
You had a sexy face?
It meant nothing. I didn't think it would count. It meant nothing?
I was just a little bi-curious.
Well, honey, I'm a little bi. Yeah.